Do you have a Commanders hot take that you want to get on the show? Well, now's your chance, Commanders fans. Use hashtag Commanders down in the comments section and give me a hot take that you have for the 2023 season. Can't wait to see what you guys have cooked up here down there in the comments. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Today's top story on the Commanders Report is that the NFL and current Commanders owner Dan Snyder have reached an agreement to address some of the recent legal issues that are facing the NFL, Dan Snyder and company around the Jon Gruden email scandal and how it could affect the Commanders' sale here. So this is kind of a complicated situation here where ESPN reported last week that Dan Snyder could have leaked the Jon Gruden emails that have now led to Gruden filing suit against the NFL, which could potentially make the NFL liable here for potential damages and its owners as well, which obviously they don't like. So it kind of put the Commanders' sale in jeopardy here because next week is when the Commanders' sale is supposed to go through. The NFL owners will vote on it on July 20th. And Snyder has been seeking indemnification. Now, what that means is that he's saying, I'm not going to sell the team unless I'm not going to be held legally liable for anything that comes out of the Jon Gruden lawsuit. And a lot of NFL owners did not want to give him that. We still don't know the details of the deal that he has struck with the NFL as of right now, but apparently an agreement has been made. And right now, the runway is clear for the Washington Commanders to be acquired by American businessman Josh Harris, who is currently the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils in the NHL. And the NFL's Finance Committee as well has given its approval for the Commanders sale. So it's really looking like everything is lining up now, where next Thursday, the Washington Commanders are going to have a brand new owner in charge, which is great news. And if you're happy that Dan Snyder is about to leave the nation's capital and the Commanders franchise, type F Snyder for me down in the comment section if you're happy about this sale. All right, so now let's get to the football side of today's show, starting with Bleacher Report, who came out with their list of breakout candidates and bust candidates. They gave one player for each NFL team. And for the Washington Commanders, their breakout candidate was Jahan Dotson, second-year wide receiver out of Penn State. And then their bust candidate was also a second-year player, quarterback Sam Howell. Now, let's break these guys down one at a time. Jahan Dotson is somebody that I have been advocating for all offseason. I mean, I love Terry McLaurin as well, but when I look at this dynamic duo that the Commanders have on the outside wide receiver position, I think that Jahan Dotson is going to be a breakout star this year next to Terry McLaurin. That's going to be one of the most dynamic duos in the league this season. The guy that I've always compared Jahan Dotson's game to is Stefon Diggs, because they're both a little bit smaller, they're both a little slight, but they're very, very good route runners. They got great body control, great hands, and overall, I think that Jahan Dotson can have a similar trajectory to Stefon Diggs' career, where over the course of the next couple of seasons, Dotson becomes a true star wide receiver in this league. And, you know, the weird thing with the Sam Howell thing, calling him a bust candidate, is that you have one of his wide receivers as your breakout candidate. How does that work? You know, Sam Howell is somebody that I'm looking at here, and I'm saying, how is Sam Howell going to bust? And then Jahan Dotson is somehow going to be such this amazing, great breakout player. Like, what the heck is that, Bleacher Report? This just doesn't make any sense to me, where you have a wide receiver in Jahan Dotson, who I agree with. He's going to have a breakout season this year. He's fantastic, but the guy throwing him the football is going to suck. How does that make any sense from Bleacher Report's perspective? I think that they didn't really think that through when they made their list, because if Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin are both going to have fantastic seasons, that means that Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell are going to have to be successful getting them the football. And if you don't think that's going to happen, I don't know how you have Jahan Dotson as your breakout candidate. So for me, it's a little bit of, have a little bit of a consistent standard here, Bleacher Report. That's all I ask from you. All right, if you're enjoying the content here from the Commanders Report, we're going to have videos for you guys every single day leading up to the start of the 2023 season, where we're going to be covering all 17 games of the Commanders schedule. So if you want in-depth Commanders coverage here on YouTube, 100% free, and you want to become an expert on the burgundy and gold, click that subscribe button for me right now. All right, now shifting from Bleacher Report to Pro Football Focus here, where PFF is doing their top 50 players list that they do every single season. They just released numbers 50 through 30, and on that list, Jonathan Allen, the Commanders' defensive tackle, was number 36 on their list, and I think it's much deserved, okay? Jonathan Allen, when healthy, is one of the best definitely one of the most underrated interior disruptors in the league, right up there with Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. Might not be quite on that level, but Jonathan Allen is definitely a big-time contributor to this Commanders defense, and I really love what he is doing there on the interior of the defensive line. And then, of course, he's got Daron Payne on the other side, which just makes things even more difficult for opposing offenses. So now, the other question that I have regarding this is that he's the only player that's made the list so far. Will there be any more Commanders players that make it on this top 50 list? If we can speculate here a little bit, Terry McLaurin should absolutely be a top 25 player in the National Football League on their list. He's a top 10 receiver in my eyes. I think that he is so slept on because of the quarterback play that he's had to play with here over the last couple of years. The Taylor Heineke's of the world, the Carson Wentz's of the world. I love Taylor Heineke. I love the spirit that he brings, man, but he's just not an NFL starting quarterback. And Terry McLaurin now, if Sam Howell's the real deal, I think he's going to have a true breakout season this year as a superstar wide receiver. He should absolutely be on that list, at least in my opinion. Some other guys that I think could use some recognition, but I think are probably going to get snubbed, are Cameron Curl, the strong safety, second highest graded safety according to Pro Football Focus last year, and then also Daron Payne. He just got the bag this offseason, and for good reason. Jonathan Allen, I think, is one of the best interior pass rushers in the National Football League, and Daron Payne was matching him step for step last year, which of course led to that big extension he got during the 2023 offseason. And then, I'm looking at some guys that could potentially get on that list next year. Guys like Jahan Dotson, I think, is going to have a great breakout season. Derek Force, the free safety, I think is a great young player and a great playmaker there, playing center field in Jack Del Rio's system. Emmanuel Forbes, somebody that I think is going to be a defensive rookie of the year candidate this year. I think that this list for this year, there's only going to be like 2 or 3 Commanders, but I think looking forward to the 2024 PFF 50 list, I think there's going to be a lot more Commanders on that list, and I think there's going to be a lot of young Washington Commanders players that show out here in 2023. So again here, if you didn't get that question in earlier in today's show, now is your chance. Use hashtag Commanders and give me a hot take that you have on the Washington Commanders heading into the 2023 season. If it's spicy enough, you might just make one of the videos we have later in the week.